Welcome to another edition of the Sundown series, where today we will be headed to Granite City, Illinois. And before I get into this, what I'm starting to notice is that while I'm in the state of Illinois, a lot of the towns that I've been covering so far all relatively start to look alike. Like this one looks similar to one that I think I covered about 2 weeks ago. And if these didn't have names attached to them, you would swear up and down that it was the same exact location. But let's get into it. Granite City is a city in Madison County, Illinois, United States, within the greater St. Louis metropolitan area. The population was 29,849 at the 2000 census, making it the second largest city in the metro east and southern Illinois regions behind Belleville. What's interesting is out of all of the towns that I've done so far, or villages that I've done so far for Illinois, this one so far is the largest one population wise. The rest of them, they were very, very small. Officially founded in 1896, Granite City was named by the Niegringhaus brothers, William and Frederick, who established it as a steel-making company town for the manufacture of kitchen utensils made to resemble granite. Now I'm going to skip down a little bit and just get into the parts that we're really only here to talk about. Around 1903, Granite City expelled its African American residents. In 1967, the Congress of Racial Equality alleged that Granite City was indeed a sundown town. Mayor Donald Partney acknowledged that the city was commonly understood to have a sundown ordinance, but denied that it was official. So basically, they knew it was a sundown town, but they never actually officially named it or claimed it to be one, even though the sundown qualities was definitely there. As of the census of 2010, there were 29,849 people, 12,214 households, and 7,791 families residing in the city. The population density was 1,547.5 people per square mile. There were 13,578 housing units at an average density of 703 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 91.5% white, 6.5% black. Believe it or not, 6.5% black is like the highest population of black people out of all the towns that I have done in Illinois so far. That's saying a lot. 1.1% American Indian or Alaskan Native. 0.8% of any race is 5%. Now that's interesting. So the second highest group in this town is black people, even though it's a huge gap, but it actually beat out Latinos and Hispanics for once by over 1%. That's interesting. There were 12,214 households, out of which 27.1% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 42.4% were married, living together. 15.4% had a female householder with no husband present, and 36.2% were non-families. 30.4% of all households were made up of householders living alone, and 13% had someone living alone who was 65 years or age of older. The average household size was 2.42, and the average family size was 3. The median income for a household in the city in 2014 was $43,759, and the median income for a family was $57,596. Males over age 16 had a median income of $46,390 versus $36,989 for females. The per capita income for the city is $22,397. About 14.8% of families and 18.3% of the population were below the poverty line, including 27.7% of those under age 18 and 7.2% of those age 65 years or older. So this is a different setting for this particular town that goes against I guess you can say one of the narratives. This is definitely not a small town, because 29,000, that's a pretty sizable town considering the other towns I've talked about, where some of them couldn't even get over 10,000. This town has more black people in it than all the other towns that I've talked about in Illinois, where it was like less than 1% or maybe 1%. And the fact that it actually beat out Hispanic or Latino, that's saying something too, because usually they were the second highest non-white group for the towns I was speaking on. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that, of course, 91.5% Caucasian. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And that's one thing that all of these sundown towns that I'm talking about have in common. They have an overwhelmingly amount of Caucasian people living in it. And I'm talking about overwhelming. I think it's only one town that I've done in my entire series where maybe one or two towns did not have 90+ percent white people living in it. They were like in the 80s and maybe even the upper 70s. But everywhere else, they've been in the 90s. One of them was almost 100%. And I think that was maybe somewhere when I was talking about Arkansas. But this pretty much concludes this edition of the Sundown series. This was Granite City, Illinois. Stay tuned for the next one.